Hi, this is Eric Martin with BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Ryan Miller, designer of the Naruto Boruto Card Game. It comes in 2 editions, one focusing on the Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, and then Naruto Shippuden and Boruto. I'm very curious to see this, mostly because my son is an obsessed fan, and
awesome.
He is very upset that these are not for sale here.
Oh.
I will just mention that.
You could probably use your connections. I don't want to make any promises.
Say,
you might have a little pull.
That's right. But I know it's out by Gen Con is the idea.
That's right,
at least.
yeah.
Okay, so by August 2019, these will be out. So it's 2 separate sets, and each can be played alone or combined.
Yeah, so the idea is that you can, if you purchase both sets, you actually get a complete play set of the game. And then after that, you can make any kind of deck you want, kind of trading card game style. It was built to be a really fun, fast, battling game. And it's got something I'm really excited about. It's got the Chrono Gauge here.
Okay.
And I just want to, this is my favorite mechanic. I've been working in the game industry for 20 years now. Mostly I'm trading card games. I love card games. I love the battling. I love all that stuff. I've always wanted to do a game where you can play whatever card you want, but you might regret it sometimes, or it might, it's more about your strategy than what particular resources you happen to have at that moment, right?
Okay.
But still in a way that is balanceable. And that's the tough thing to do, right? You can't just have free cards, because then whoever just happened to draw the best cards wins, right?
Okay.
So with the Chrono Class system, it uses this chronometer here, this Chrono Gauge, and basically it's going to start at the 0. It's this track, goes from 10 to 0 to 10.
So we're combining both sets here. This is
one
set, one's another set.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, for each game, you actually only need 1 gauge, right? So we just cover that up there.
Okay.
Now, let's say you're player 1. To pay a cost, you're just going to move, we'll just pull a card out. To pay this card's cost, this card costs 5, you're just going to move this 5 spaces towards your opponent's side.
Okay.
When it gets to their 1 or higher, your turn is over now.
Right.
So you can, if you want, you can play your big 5-drop, 9-drop at the beginning of the game if you wanted to, but look what you've done for your opponent now, right?
And they're going to respond with several
exactly.
cards.
It's an old army saying, like, we can't make you do anything, but we can make you wish you had, right? It's that kind of thing of like that. So it's more about the strategy that you're going to employ based on the cards that you've drawn, based on what you built your deck to do. And it's just a really fun dynamic. It turns a lot of the typical TCG ideas on its head a little bit, and I think it'll give Naruto Boruto fans a lot of fun, but also trading card game players, we're going to have a lot of fun with this, because it's got some really unique stuff going on here.
Okay. So what's the nature of a turn? Like, what are in the decks, and how are we competing with each one another?
Basically, each player's going to start with the Guardians, and these are just 5 cards from the top of your deck at the start of the game here.
Okay.
Now, in typical trading card game fashion, you're going to spend your turn summoning battlers, is what we call them. That's these guys here that, right there, okay, sure. Yep. You always tell a battler because it's got the strength at the bottom there. These are not finished cards, by the way. You can tell by the squares. These are kind of pre-production, so don't judge me too harshly on like the borders or anything like that, the cutting or anything like that.
Yep.
The turn itself is pretty freeform. You're always going to start the turn by drawing a card. Then you can do whatever you want in whatever order you want, as long as it's still your turn, right? So if I were to, play 10-10, that would cost me 2. I would just move it there, but now my turn's over because it's gotten to year 1 or higher.
Right.
Now, battlers can't attack the turn you summon them. So even if I, manage to drop this guy and only pay 2 and it's still my turn, I still can't do anything with him until next turn. But let's say I do that. Well, let's say next turn I still got 10-10 out. When you attack with a battler, you can choose an opponent's tapped battler, or you can attack their guardian stack.
Okay.
And the guardian stack's a lot of fun. Now, whenever a guardian stack's attacked, you're just going to reveal the top card. If it has a guardian ability, which is this ability shield here, you're going to resolve that. So in this case, you could draw a card and discard a card.
Okay.
Then you're just going to compare the strengths of the 2 battlers. In this case, your Guardian defeats my 10-10, but the nice thing is your Guardian still goes away. So even though I lost my attacker, you're still down a Guardian. Okay. And to win the game, I just have to get rid of all your Guardians and then attack you one more time.
Okay.
Now the other way to win, that's also a lot of fun, is by questing. And questing works in a similar way. I tap my guy, but instead of attacking one of your cards, I'm just going to take any card from my hand and put it face down. And this now acts like a guardian for that creature, or that battler right there.
Okay, so you're adding more to the field and more defenses across.
Now, you can attack, and it's just like a guardian thing. I'm going to flip this up. I'm going to play its ability if it has one. In this case, this is an action card, so it actually doesn't do anything to the attacking card. The nice thing about questing is, since I know what card I'm putting down, I can choose a card that has a really cool guardian ability. Now, at the start of my turn, if this card's still here, it goes over here. And once I get 5 cards here, I win. right?
Okay.
So it's got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Forcing me to respond.
It does, right? So if you can't really turtle up, if you start turtling up and just trying to maybe build an army, I'm just going to start questing and force you to come at me. And that'll expose your battlers because now they're tapped, and now I can, so it really is, questing adds a nice alternate route to victory, but also is a way to kind of dare your opponent to stop you, right? And they have to, so.
Okay, and we have lots of different abilities on
Absolutely.
the cards.
So we basically have the icon system. Yes. We have the icon system here, and basically this allows us also to do cards. You can play this with anybody who speaks any language. You can, as long as they know the game as well. And once you learn the icons, it becomes very easy because it is almost like a programming language. This is like when you summon this, choose a creature with strength 2 or less and destroy it, right? So it's just a very simple, it might look a little daunting at first, but it really, once you get into it, and especially once you build your own deck, you're more familiar with your abilities and you can kind of see what's going on. Now I'd like to talk about these massive cards over here. You may have noticed these things. These are called extra cards or EX cards. The way you get these into your hand is only by special abilities. There's some special abilities that say, like this guy right here, he says summon, draw 1 EX card.
Okay.
So by playing this card, you would draw this into your hand. Now, first of all, I want to point out, it's super fun to draw this massive card in your hand because now you're like this, right? And you're like, ha 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 ha. And then also when you play it, it makes a nice breeze across to your opponent, and just the fear, you can feel it going across there.
That definitely feels like it would work, match their skills. There are a lot of,
There's a lot of big characters, right? And the big glass and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Now, these guys are interesting because you don't use the Chrono Gauge to pay for them. You actually just discard non-EX battlers you have in play that have total cost that is at least this high. So in this case, if this were my board,
you don't even have enough.
I don't have enough, right? So I would have to have another guy, and so if this were my board, I might go 6 + 2. Discard these guys. Maybe I've already attacked with them even. So, I attack with them, they survive, discard these, and I drop this guy into play, right?
Okay.
And the wafting of the crazy, the fear wafts across there. What that means, though, is that since I didn't have to pay any time, well then, hey, still my turn. Awesome, right? And all the EX cards all the EX cards have this little bit here, and that's called fast. And that means what you probably think it means, which is it can swing right away, right? Okay. And this guy is extra mean because when he comes into play, choose 2 battlers and destroy them. Right?
Okay.
He also has what's called Guardian Attack +1, and what that means is when he hits your Guardians, assuming he survives the first one, he hits a second one. So he is extra bad. So these guys are a lot of fun. They add a really neat dimension to the game, and they really make it feel, the anime big, right? It's just the big attacks, the big creatures, the big characters. They just add a really fun level to that. And that is especially true with the Godzilla set that's coming out this fall that we just announced. So we're using the same system, but with all Godzilla characters, kaiju. We've got,
that I assume can interact.
Yes, you can't mix the cards in because you'll see the backs of the cards. You can't, and that's a licensing thing, right? It's
Yes.
but you could potentially have your Godzilla fighting Naruto or whatever you want, right? And so you can imagine with a Godzilla card, you're like, boom, right? Destroy the city, that sort of thing. I'm extraordinarily proud of this system. It is something that I've worked my whole career to find this type of design where it's just like you're battling from almost turn 1. You're dropping your favorite guys. It's got the hope of the Guardian stack, right? You never know when you swing at your opponent. You're like, oh,
because this is also, as you said, you shuffle your deck and it's just 5 at random.
That's right.
So you don't even know what's missing from your deck, and it's kind of this mystery of what you can call on.
And so part of deck building involves you want to have a nice curve, but you just want to look at these Guardian abilities and go, what do I want? What are some really good ones that might save me a turn? That sort of thing. So
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Dude, thanks for having me, and thanks for what you guys do for the community.
Thank you very much. And these will be out by August 2019, ideally?
I believe the date is actually June 28th is when they come out. So they will be at Gen Con. We have some tournaments going on with some events and that sort of thing. And I will be there too. So come play with me.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for having me.